Before we begin, let me ask something simple. Where in the world are you listening from tonight? And what time is it for you now? Is it dusk or midnight, morning, or some quiet moment in between? You can share it in the comments if you like. It's always a comfort to know you're not the only one listening. Somewhere, someone else is dreaming beside you. Maybe it's a teacher in Tokyo, a musician in Morocco, a painter in Peru, all drifting together through the gentle quiet of curiosity. This story is for you, for the part of you that drifts, for the part of you that pauses mid-sentence, staring out the window, and floats somewhere far away. You're not broken for wandering. You're not scattered. You're beautifully built that way. So let's lie back, slow our breath, and begin. Let's start here with the breath, noticing it. Just noticing. The soft way air travels through you, the way your chest rises and gently falls. Your mind may already be drifting to a memory, to a what if, to nothing at all. And that is perfect, because in this space, wandering is not a flaw, it's a feature. Your mind is doing exactly what it was designed to do. You see, the brain isn't a machine made to constantly focus. It's a meadow, not a factory. It sways in thought. It rests, restores, imagines. You don't always have to hold the reins. Sometimes, letting go is the smartest thing your mind can do. Now, let's float into the science, but gently, like clouds rolling through a blue morning sky. When your mind wanders, a specific network lights up in your brain. Scientists call it the default mode network, or DMN. It's what turns on when you're not focused, when you're staring at the ceiling, when you're washing dishes, when you're lying in bed, just like now. The default mode network is like a warm lantern in the woods of your mind. It glows when you're reflecting on the past, imagining the future, or building entire worlds out of thin air. Isn't that beautiful? Focus helps us get things done, but daydreaming helps us become who we are. Did you know that daydreaming can help us heal? When your mind slips into its wandering state, it isn't being lazy, it's weaving meaning, making sense of feelings you haven't named, building bridges between scattered dots. It's like a quiet editor, tying your life together behind the scenes. Some of the most powerful emotional repair happens when we're simply staring out the window, or listening to soft music, or walking without a destination. Even now, as you lie here, letting words drift in and out, your mind is gently tending to your inner world. It is not wasted time. It is sacred space. Imagine your mind as a vast garden. Every time you daydream, you wander among its trees. You sit by its still ponds. You plant seeds of wonder. You tend to your fears and joys with soft hands. When you were a child, this garden was wild. You didn't need a reason to imagine. a puddle became an ocean. A crack in the wall was a doorway to another world. As adults, we forget. We pave the paths. We try to be efficient. But the garden waits. Every time you zone out, you return. You remember. And in that moment, something in you breathes again. So the next time your thoughts wander, don't pull them back so quickly. Let them go. Let them play. They know the way better than you think. Pause for a moment and try to remember a day from your childhood. Not a big day, not a birthday or a holiday, just an ordinary afternoon. Maybe you were lying in the grass, looking at clouds. Maybe you were staring at raindrops racing down a window, or playing with a spoon, pretending it was a spaceship. Do you remember how vivid everything felt? How one thought melted into another until suddenly you were somewhere else entirely? Children daydream constantly, and we don't fault them for it. We call it imagination, creativity, innocence. But then we grow up, and someone tells us to pay attention, to stop drifting. So we try. We try to stay grounded. We try to color inside the lines. But inside, a part of us misses that floating world, that soft freedom, that endless what if. Daydreaming is not something we outgrow. It's something we need to return to, not to escape, but to reconnect. Because sometimes the truest version of ourselves lives in the places we drift to when no one's watching. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about a conversation you had 10 years ago? Or playing out a moment that hasn't happened yet? That's your brain time traveling. When your mind wanders, it moves not only through ideas, but through time itself. It loops back to old joys and wounds. It projects forward into imagined futures. This ability is deeply human. No other species does this quite like we do. The brain regions involved in memory and in imagination, they overlap. So when you're daydreaming about the future, you're actually remembering forward, using pieces of your past to sculpt possibilities ahead. And when you're reliving something from the past, your mind may be gently reshaping it, giving it new meaning, a softer edge, or a lesson. It's not wasted thought. It's repair. It's rehearsal. It's quiet evolution. So the next time you catch yourself far away from the present, thank your brain. It's walking the long, beautiful hallway of time, and you are both the traveler and the architect. Why ideas visit when you least expect them? Have you ever had a brilliant idea in the shower? Or solved a problem while folding laundry? Or imagined a story, a painting, a melody while lying awake at night? That is the gift of the creative drift. You see, when the mind relaxes, it stops trying to force answers. And that's when they come, softly, quietly, like birds landing on your shoulder. The brain is constantly building connections. Even when you're doing nothing, your subconscious is working, braiding together fragments of memory, emotion, and thought. Daydreaming opens the door to this hidden workshop. Writers know it, painters know it, inventors, Scientists, poets all speak of that moment when ideas arrive from nowhere. But nowhere is actually somewhere, and that somewhere is daydream. When you let your mind loosen its grip, when you allow space between thoughts, you create a fertile field where ideas can bloom. So don't feel guilty when you're off task. Don't rush to fill every empty moment. Sometimes it's in the soft silence that the mind finds its loudest insight. Let's return, just for a moment, to something you may have left behind long ago. An imaginary friend. Maybe you never had one, or maybe you forgot. But many children do. They speak to them, create whole worlds around them, give them names, stories, emotions. Psychologists once thought this was just fantasy. But now, we know better. Imaginary companions are more than play. They are how children practice empathy, how they explore different sides of themselves, how they make sense of confusion, of joy, of fear. In a way, we never stop doing this. As adults, we call them inner voices, self-talk, or the characters in the stories we write. Daydreaming is often a conversation with an idea, a memory, a possible self. Sometimes we invent others to speak with when the world around us is too quiet or too loud. And that's not strange. It's not childish. It's profoundly human. Because through imagined friends, real or fictional, we begin to understand who we are. And maybe if you listen closely, one of them is still with you, gently guiding you through thought tonight. Boredom. It sounds dull, doesn't it? That restless feeling, the itch to check your phone, open a tab, scroll and scroll. But what if boredom wasn't a void, but a doorway, a quiet invitation? When we're bored, our brains start to wander. Not because we're broken, but because we're wired to seek novelty, pattern, and beauty. Boredom is the threshold between the visible and the imagined, the moment you grow still enough to hear your own thoughts. And when you step through that threshold, when you resist the urge to fill the silence, you find something extraordinary. Yourself. Ideas rise up. Old dreams return. Strange and beautiful thoughts drift by like clouds. Boredom isn't the enemy of attention. It's the birthplace of it. So the next time you find yourself with nothing to do, resist the urge to escape it. Let your mind drift. Let the portal open. There's a whole other world waiting on the other side. Close your eyes and picture a thought. Not a word or a sentence, but the shape of a thought. What does it look like? Is it a spark? A ripple in water? A golden thread floating through space? We don't often ask what a thought feels like, because we're usually too busy thinking it. But in quiet moments, like this one. We can step back. Let's drift into the strange physics of thought. You see, every thought you have is a cascade, an invisible movement inside your brain. Tiny electrical signals leaping from one neuron to another. Each jump, each flicker of activity is like a stone skipping across a still lake. And those patterns, they travel through networks shaped by your life, your experiences, your memories, your senses. It's not random. Your mind doesn't just drift anywhere. It follows the contours of you. When you're daydreaming, your brain is navigating what scientists call spontaneous cognition. But it's not truly spontaneous. It's structured like music. Melodies rise and fall. They return to familiar refrains. And then, unexpectedly, they open to something new. In this way, your thoughts are like waves. They carry energy, memory, and meaning across time. And just like waves, they don't have to be sharp or fast to be powerful. The softest ripple can reshape the entire surface of your mind. Let's walk now into the space between day and night, where one kind of dream ends and another begins. Have you ever wondered, what's the difference between daydreams and night dreams? They both carry images, both create entire worlds, both bring up feelings, memories, fears, and hopes, but they're not the same. Night dreams often come from the deep, unconscious parts of your brain. They arrive when your body is asleep and your conscious mind is offline. Symbols mix with memories. Time becomes fluid. Strange combinations appear. A person from your childhood, in a room you've never seen, speaking in a language you don't know. These dreams are often mysterious, sometimes frightening, sometimes divine. But daydreams come when your eyes are open, when you're awake, but your focus loosens. They tend to be gentler, more personal, more connected to your waking world. They often include real places, real people. They build softly on the edge of reality, stretching it just enough to imagine something more. Night dreams take you inward. Daydreams take you forward. Night dreams restore. Daydreams inspire. Both are essential. Both are portals. Both remind us that consciousness isn't just on or off. It's a dance, a rhythm, a twilight in motion. So as you lie here tonight, you might drift between both, and that is a gift. There's a secret symphony playing in your mind. It's soft, continuous, and it begins the moment you stop trying. It's called the default mode network, a gentle pattern of brain activity that comes alive when you're resting, reflecting, remembering. When you are not focused on the outside world, your brain turns inward. It begins composing. Scientists used to think that rest was inactivity, that the brain just shut down when it had no task. But now we know better. Rest is not empty. Rest is a different kind of intelligence. When your default mode is active, you process emotions. You replay conversations. You imagine what someone else might be feeling. You plan for the future. You untangle puzzles you didn't even know you were holding. This is why so many insights come when you're showering, or walking quietly, or simply lying in bed, as you are now. You may not even notice the music, but it's there. A background orchestra of thought, a lullaby playing played by the mind to itself. So the next time someone tells you to get your head out of the clouds, smile gently. You know something they don't. Clouds are where the symphony plays. Let's talk about the art of meandering. Not rushing, not racing, just wandering. You see, not every journey needs a destination, and not every thought needs a conclusion. Sometimes, the most beautiful ideas appear when we are not trying to find them. Like fireflies blinking in tall summer grass. You don't chase them. You watch. You wait. You wonder. Mental meandering is a form of meditation, but unlike focused mindfulness, it welcomes distraction. It lets the mind trail off, pause on a curious thought, circle back, and drift away again. You may begin thinking about what to cook tomorrow, then find yourself remembering your grandmother's kitchen, then a scent, then a story she once told you. And suddenly, you are filled with a strange and gentle emotion. That is the miracle of meandering. It is how we discover meaning without digging for it. It is the long, unplanned walk through the garden of your inner life. So, if your thoughts are wandering now, good. You are walking the soft, sacred path of curiosity, and every step is enough. Let's end this part of our journey with something very simple, very important. You are not lost. You're wandering. There's a difference. Being lost means you're without direction, but wandering is a choice. It's what the mind does when it's safe enough to explore, when it doesn't need to perform or prove or perfect. Wandering is wisdom. Even nature knows this. Rivers wander. Clouds wander. The stars themselves drift across the sky, not in straight lines, but in spirals, orbits, ellipses. There is grace in drifting, in not knowing, in giving yourself permission to step out of the straight path. So, tonight, as your eyes grow heavier and your thoughts slip further from words, know this: you are not lost. You're wandering, and that is beautiful. Even the quietest thought travels like light through the fabric of you. You may not feel it, but right now, deep within you, something incredible is happening. Beneath the hush of your breath, beneath the slow blink of your eyes, beneath the weight of your blanket, your brain is pulsing gently with activity. And not just random sparks, but a constellation of patterns, like a private universe made entirely of you. When we talk about thought, we often speak in words. What are you thinking? Clear your thoughts. Don't overthink it. But underneath is something much older, much more fluid, a kind of soft physics. Imagine this. Each thought you have is like a pebble dropped into still water. It creates ripples. Those ripples spread through networks of neurons, millions of them, each connecting to thousands more. And those waves don't stay in place. They echo.
They travel. They return. Sometimes when your mind drifts to an old feeling, a forgotten smell, a strange dream, it's not random. It's physics. It's energy moving through old paths, lighting up memories stored in the shape of cells. And when you dream or imagine or even wonder, you're not escaping the world. You're reorganizing it, refracting it, turning it gently like a prism in sunlight. This is why daydreaming feels so physical sometimes, like falling or floating, like drifting into a warm current beneath your skin. Thought is not only mental, it is embodied. It's you. And when you allow it to move freely, without force or fear, you're not being lazy. You're honoring your natural design. You are made to ripple. You are built to wander. And even now in this quiet, you are a symphony of motion. One speaks in symbols, the other in whispers. Let's imagine, just for a moment, that you're standing at the edge of a forest. On one side, the night, still, deep, dotted with stars. On the other, a golden field, wide and open under the afternoon sun. Both are beautiful. Both are dreamlands. But they're different. This is how it is with night dreams and daydreams. Let's walk first into the forest, into the realm of night dreams. When you fall asleep, your brain changes channels, your body rests, your muscles go quiet, your senses turn inward, and then a world builds itself from nothing. You're flying, you're underwater, you're speaking to someone you haven't seen in years. The sun is green. You're walking on air. Night dreams are surreal, strange, mysterious. They borrow pieces of your day, faces, feelings, sounds, and rearrange them in ways that don't follow rules. Why? Because when we sleep, the part of the brain that controls logic and inhibition goes quiet. The sensors fall away. What's left is raw imagination. This is where buried emotions emerge, where the subconscious speaks its wild language. And now, let's step into the sunlight. This is the realm of daydreams. You're fully awake, and yet your mind drifts. You're in a meeting, but imagining being by the ocean. You're walking through the grocery store, but replaying a conversation from years ago. You're staring at the ceiling, and suddenly a new idea appears out of nowhere. Unlike night dreams, daydreams are more tethered to reality. They don't leap as far into fantasy, but they still float just above the surface of now. They are gentle, reflective, subtle. They often carry intention, thinking through what-if scenarios, imagining outcomes, rehearsing futures. And here's the lovely part. Both types of dreams use many of the same brain structures. The line between the two is soft, porous. Sometimes, in the moment before sleep, a daydream slowly blurs into a night dream, and you barely notice the crossing. You were here, and then you were somewhere else entirely. What a gift to live in a mind that can do that. A mind that offers two portals into possibility, one with eyes closed, one with eyes open. Both are sacred, and both belong to you. When you do nothing, something ancient awakens inside you. Let's pause here. Feel your body, the heaviness in your limbs, the quiet behind your thoughts, the stillness you're sinking into. You are resting. And while your body softens, something within you begins to rise. It's called the default mode network, a name that sounds technical, but the feeling of it is deeply human. It's what lights up in your brain when you stop trying to be on, when you're not solving a problem, not focused on a task, not watching, counting, calculating. In those moments of pause, driving without music,
staring into space, sitting quietly with tea, your default mode begins to hum. Scientists once thought rest meant inactivity, that the brain simply powered down. But now, through imaging technology, we know the truth. Rest is deeply active, profoundly productive, just quietly so. When you're in default mode, your brain is archiving memories, processing emotions, rehearsing possibilities, constructing identity. It's doing the invisible work of making sense of life. And it's no accident that this state feels dreamy. It shares patterns with sleep. It overlaps with meditation. It mirrors the creative mind. You see, your mind isn't built to be focused all the time. Focus is like a spotlight, helpful, precise, but the default mode is moonlight, soft, expansive, intuitive. It allows your thoughts to wander, to reconnect with lost threads, to find unexpected links between what you know and what you feel. So when you catch yourself staring out the window, don't apologize. You're not distracted. You're doing sacred maintenance. You're letting your brain breathe. You are not idle. You are not wasting time. You are restoring your inner world by letting it wander. And what could be more beautiful than that? Let your thoughts trail like ivy on an old stone wall, slow, untamed, and beautiful. There is a quiet kind of walking that only happens when you're in no rush. You might know it, a soft stroll through your neighborhood, hands in your pockets, no destination in mind, just letting your feet lead. You turn a corner simply because you've never been that way before. You stop to look at a crooked mailbox, watch a cat stretch across a fence, listen to the wind turn the leaves. There is no reason for any of it, and that is what makes it sacred. This kind of walking is what your thoughts do when they meander. Meandering is different from focusing. Focusing is a straight line, a tunnel, a mission. It gets you from here to there. But meandering, though, is curved, wandering, curious. It is not trying to arrive. It is just exploring. And in that freedom, something happens, something the straight lines could never offer. New paths appear. Unusual ideas whisper in. Old memories float to the surface like leaves in water. Because when the mind meanders, it stops controlling and starts listening. You might be thinking about what to cook for dinner. Then you remember a song your mother used to hum in the kitchen, which leads to a scent, which reminds you of a rainy afternoon, which makes you wonder if it's time to visit home. This spiral isn't a waste of time. It's a pathway into meaning. We tend to idolize straight paths. We reward productivity, direction, results. But your brain doesn't grow only in lines. It grows in loops, in swirls, in improvisations. Nature itself rarely moves in straight lines. Vines twist, rivers curve, wind dances in spirals. And so does your mind. When you allow it to meander, you return to something more organic, more human. You begin to feel things you hadn't named. You start to notice details you'd ignored. You see links between unrelated pieces of life, like a constellation forming in a formerly blank sky. Einstein daydreamed. So did Darwin. So do poets and children and philosophers and you. In fact, many of humanity's greatest leaps forward began with a quiet moment of aimlessness. Because meandering is not about being unfocused. It's about being gently available to everything. When you're no longer locked on a single task or goal, your brain expands. It makes room. And suddenly, the world grows larger. So, tonight, as your thoughts begin to blur at the edges, as ideas stretch out like cats in warm sunlight, let them go. Let them cross into other ideas. Let them pick up old emotions, half-finished stories, gentle maybes. Let them trail like ivy on the walls of your memory. This is not you being distracted. This is you being whole. 15. You are not lost. You're wandering. To be still and untethered is not to be broken. It is to be free. We live in a world that loves certainty. Where are you going? What are you doing? What's your 5-year plan? Even in our quiet moments, we carry that pressure to know, to be clear, to be sure. And so when your mind drifts to something odd, something vague, something soft and shapeless, you might feel a small shame rise inside you. I'm being unproductive, you think. I'm lost. But you're not lost. You're wandering. And those are not the same. Being lost means you've been dropped somewhere without direction. You panic. You grasp. You try to return. Wandering, on the other hand, is a kind of quiet permission, a willingness to be where you are, even if you don't know where that is. Wandering is ancient. It's what nomads did across deserts, what monks did in the hills of Tibet, what stargazers do with their eyes, what dreamers do with their minds. To wander is to be open, to be porous, to allow mystery to enter. You're not tracing a map, you're drawing one. And while wandering may look slow or directionless on the outside, internally your mind is weaving threads. You are not doing nothing. You are doing deep, essential integration. You are asking questions without words. What do I need right now? What's still unfinished? What's calling me quietly from far away? And these answers don't come quickly. They arrive the way fog lifts from a lake, gently, partially, with mystery still intact. If you've ever wandered a forest, you know this. You begin to see more once you stop trying to arrive. You start to notice the moss, the tiny mushrooms at your feet, the way the light filters through the trees at a slant, just like your thoughts, falling where they may. The same is true for the mind. The longer you allow yourself to drift, the deeper you arrive in yourself. So, tonight, as you lie here with no particular destination, as your thoughts circle and fade, return and dissolve, know this. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not falling behind. You are wandering, and wandering is holy. Let the others run their races. Let the clocks tick for someone else. Right now, this is your time to drift. You are the sky. You are the clouds. You are the endless blue in between. No matter how far your mind drifts, there is always a center, and it is you. There is something profoundly tender about returning to a place you didn't realize you had left. Like opening your eyes after a daydream and finding your tea has gone cold beside you. Like hearing your name gently spoken after a long quiet of wandering within. This is the nature of return. And your mind, too, has places it returns to, without maps, without signs, just an invisible pull, homeward. Sometimes that place is a memory, a moment in childhood, a room with sunlight on the floor, a book read under blankets, a voice that hummed from another room. Sometimes it's not a memory, but a feeling, a kind of inner stillness, a shoreline deep inside where the waves of thought grow calm. Tonight, you may have wandered far, through gardens of thought, through spiral staircases of memory, across strange dreamscapes and glowing recollections. Your thoughts may have circled old griefs, or touched the cheek of old joys. They may have surprised you with stories you didn't know you were still telling. But always, under all of that wandering, there is a quiet ground your mind rests upon, a place of breath, of rhythm, of steady being. And that place is you. Not the name you wear during the day, not the tasks you carry, not the roles, the labels, the expectations, but the still presence beneath all those things, the one who watches thought rise and fall, like lanterns floating up into a dusk sky, the one who remains even when everything else changes. That you, the watcher, the dreamer, the quiet self, is not lost in the clouds of thought. It is the sky they pass through. So, as you rest here at the soft edge of waking and sleep, know this: you can always return to this breath, to this pause, to this quiet garden inside you. It will wait. It will welcome. It will remind you that even when your mind wanders far, you are never far from home. Let the drifting continue. There is a certain kind of quiet that doesn't ask anything of you. It doesn't want your energy. It doesn't ask you to fix or finish or focus. It only asks you to be here, in this breath, in this body, in this drift. Even now, as thoughts continue their soft river beneath your awareness, you don't need to chase them. You don't need to catch anything, not clarity, not peace, not even sleep. You are allowed to simply float, like a small paper boat, gently carried downstream, not knowing where the river goes, but trusting the motion. Your breath is the river now. It carries you. Slow inhale, soft release. Nothing to hold, nothing to push. Some thoughts may still rise, as they always do. That's okay. Let them appear. Let them shimmer briefly, like fish beneath the surface of a clear lake, and then let them disappear again, unforced, unjudged, unnamed. You might notice one thought that repeats itself, a small worry, an old to-do, a memory that loops quietly. You don't need to silence it. Only soften around it. Make space, like fog around a tree, like twilight around a house. The mind even in rest, will always have its movements. But you are not the movement. You are the space it happens within. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. And this knowing, this subtle, simple noticing, is where deep peace begins, not by controlling the mind, but by offering it kindness, curiosity, room to stretch out and exhale. There is no pressure now, not to understand, not to change, not even to relax, only to be here, exactly as you are, with your soft, wandering thoughts, with your endless inner landscape, with your beautiful, curious, restless, radiant mind. You have wandered far tonight. You will wander again. And every time you do, may it be gentle, may it be kind, may it return you not to a goal, but to yourself. Still breathing, still listening, still dreaming. Stillness is not empty. It is the quiet frame that holds every thought and feeling gently in place. Imagine stillness as a great house, not cold or silent, but warm, inviting, with walls made of soft light and floors woven from calm shadows. Inside this house of stillness, your thoughts come and go like visitors. Some stay briefly, some linger longer, but none are permanent tenants. You don't have to chase them, arrange them, or judge them. You simply watch them pass through spacious rooms, sipping quiet tea with the gentle calm that inhabits every corner. In this house of stillness, there is a fireplace burning low, a soft glow that neither demands attention nor fades away. It is the pulse beneath your thoughts, the steady beat of your breath, the quiet rhythm that lets you be exactly who you are. Stillness is the foundation. Your mind is the garden growing inside these walls. Daydreams are the flowers, blossoming wild and free, reaching toward the open windows where soft breezes enter. To dwell in stillness is to welcome each moment, whether it carries noise or silence, without rushing or resisting. It is the home where wandering minds find rest, and where peace grows slowly, like moss over time. Silence is not empty space. It is the language of the soul speaking in whispers. Have you noticed how sometimes in the softest silences, a new kind of thinking arises? It's not loud or urgent. It doesn't push or pull. It simply is. Silence thinks in shapes, colors, and sensations. A memory unfolding like a slow petal, a feeling resting softly on your chest, a gentle knowing that doesn't need words. When the mind slows enough to hear it, silence becomes a conversation without voices, a dance without movement, a light without form. It teaches patience, the kind that doesn't wait anxiously for tomorrow, but rests fully in the present moment's embrace. It teaches kindness, the kind that turns gently inward, offering forgiveness and love to the parts of ourselves we often hide. It teaches depth, reminding us that beneath all the noise, beneath the constant chatter of thoughts, there is a wellspring of quiet wisdom always waiting to be discovered. So next time your world feels too loud or your mind too crowded, close your eyes and listen carefully, not to the sounds around you, but to the silence within you. Let it think for you. Like the ocean, the mind has depths and shallows, both equally beautiful and necessary. Picture a tidal pool on a calm beach, small, still, and shimmering in the sun. Inside it, countless life forms move slowly, tiny crabs skittering sideways, starfish clinging quietly to rocks, delicate anemones waving in invisible currents. The tidal pool is both separate from the vast ocean and part of it. It reflects the sky and holds the mysteries of the deep. It is a place of gentle balance, where change happens slowly, where life blooms in unexpected places. Your mind is much like this tidal pool, sometimes shallow and clear, quiet thoughts floating easily, memories coming to the surface like smooth stones. Other times it is deep and mysterious, with feelings and dreams swirling in hidden currents, patterns that shift beneath your awareness. Neither state is better or worse. Both are needed. Both are sacred. Daydreaming lets you visit this tidal pool. It lets you explore both the surface and the depths without fear or rush. You can watch the tide pull thoughts away, then bring new ones back again and again. And through this gentle ebb and flow, you learn to trust the rhythms of your own mind, knowing that every wave carries a story, and every still moment holds a gift. In the stillness between sounds, the soul sings its softest song. Close your eyes and listen, not just to the noises around you, but to the spaces between them, the silence that drapes itself like a gentle shawl over the world, that quiet pause between the falling raindrops, the rustling leaves, the distant hum of night. This is where music lives, not in grand orchestras or crowded halls, but in the tender moments when the world holds its breath. Your mind is like a vast concert hall. Each thought is a note, each feeling a melody. But the true beauty, the deep magic, happens in the rests, the soft gaps where sound fades and breath expands. These quiet moments are the resting places for your heart. They offer space for healing, for dreaming, for just being. In this music of silence, there is no rush, no need to fill every moment with sound or action.
There is only the gentle ebb and flow, the rise and fall of your own breath as it moves through your body. When you listen here, truly listen, you might notice a rhythm, slow, steady, peaceful. Like a lullaby the universe sings just for you. This music doesn't ask for attention. It invites you to relax, to float, to sink softly into yourself. And in that sinking, you find a harmony that doesn't depend on anything outside. It comes from within.
It is the quiet song of your own being. Even the thoughts we lose still hold a gentle place in our hearts. Sometimes, when your mind wanders, you find yourself brushing past thoughts you barely remember. Old dreams, half-forgotten wishes, tiny fragments of conversation, like leaves caught in a slow river, drifting just out of reach. These forgotten thoughts may seem small or insignificant, but they carry tenderness. They are echoes of parts of yourself that have been quiet for a while, waiting patiently to be heard again. Imagine a garden where some flowers bloom brightly, while others sleep beneath the soil, gathering strength in the dark. Your mind is that garden. Even the forgotten seeds are alive. They are waiting for the right moment, the softest rain, the gentlest sun. When you let your thoughts meander, sometimes those buried pieces rise to the surface, not with urgency, but with gentle curiosity, a quiet invitation to remember. To honor those forgotten parts is to love yourself more deeply. It is to say, I see you, even when you are small, even when you are quiet. And in this tenderness, healing begins. Old wounds soften, new understanding grows, and you become whole, not by fixing or changing, but by embracing all that you are. So when you notice a fleeting, forgotten thought tonight, welcome it like a friend arriving softly at your door. You don't have to follow it far. Just acknowledge it with kindness, and then let it rest again, knowing it will always be part of your story. In slow time, the world unfolds like a flower, unhurried, patient, and full of grace. In our busy lives, time often feels like a rushing river, fast, relentless, impossible to stop. But there is another kind of time. Slow time. Slow time is the heartbeat of the evening, the stretch of quiet between sunset and sleep, the long breath before the next day begins. It moves softly, gently, without pressure. It doesn't hurry you or demand more. It invites you to notice every detail, the shimmer of moonlight on leaves, the delicate scent of night flowers, the soft brush of your own breath against your skin.
Slow time is the space where daydreams grow, where memories unfurl like petals, and your mind can wander freely through the garden of your thoughts. In slow time, you are not racing toward anything. You are simply here, present, whole. When you embrace slow time, you give your mind permission to rest and roam, to drift, to imagine, to be curious without urgency. And in this gentle rhythm, you reconnect with the natural flow of life itself, the slow, steady pulse that has carried every creature, every star, every breath since the beginning. Tonight, as you lie still, allow yourself to sink into slow time. Let it cradle you like a soft quilt. Let it whisper, "There is no hurry here. You are safe. You are enough."
And in this embrace, may you find peace. Curiosity is a soft whisper inside the heart, inviting you to explore without fear or hurry. Imagine curiosity not as a loud demand, but as a gentle voice, like a breeze brushing softly across a field of tall grass, or a moth's delicate flutter in the quiet of night. It doesn't push or pull, it invites. This whisper encourages your mind to open doors slowly, to peek around corners with wonder, to ask questions without needing answers. Curiosity is the mind's way of saying, there is more here to see, more to understand, more to love. When your thoughts wander, it is curiosity leading the way, not a frantic search, but a tender exploration. Curiosity lets you dance lightly with your daydreams, to follow a thought like a leaf drifting on a stream, not worrying where it will go. It is the light touch that transforms wandering into discovery, and discovery into joy. Tonight, as your mind drifts, listen for curiosity's whisper. It will guide you gently, softly, through the garden of your inner world, a place rich with stories, feelings, and hidden treasures. And with each step you take in this slow dance, you honor the beautiful mystery of being alive. To sit quietly with not knowing is to find a calm deeper than any answer. Often life asks us to be certain, to choose a path, make a plan, hold firm to what we believe. But the mind doesn't always offer clear answers. Sometimes it offers shadows and questions, uncertainty wrapped in soft fog. And that's okay. There is a calm in uncertainty, a gentle peace that comes when you stop fighting for clarity. Imagine sitting by a lake at dusk. The water is still and dark. You cannot see what lies beneath the surface, but you don't need to. You watch the gentle ripples. You feel the cool air on your skin. You breathe in the quiet. In this moment, not knowing becomes an embrace, not a problem to solve, but a space to rest. When your mind wanders into uncertainty, don't rush to chase away the shadows. Instead, sit softly with them. Invite them in like old friends. You might find that the calm beneath the fog is wider and deeper than any clear thought you could grasp. And from this calm, new understanding can gently arise, not forced, but natural, like dawn unfolding. So tonight, if your thoughts feel cloudy or unsure, remember this: you are safe in the quiet of not knowing. You are home in the stillness between questions. Every pause is a precious gift, a chance to breathe, to feel, to simply be. In our fast-moving world, pausing can feel like a luxury, a moment stolen from the rush. But pause is more than a break. It is a gift. A pause is the space between two heartbeats, the gentle silence between two notes in a song. It holds possibility. It carries peace. When you pause, you give your mind and body room to settle. You allow feelings to surface softly. You invite clarity to grow quietly. Pauses are the gentle pauses in a conversation, the brief stillness before laughter, the breath that gathers before a story unfolds. Tonight, as you lie here, let yourself pause fully. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the softness of your skin against the sheets, the cool air brushing your face. In this pause, there is nothing to do, no one to be, only you, whole, calm, present. And that is enough. Your thoughts are the sky's changing weather, but you are the sky itself, vast, open, and unshaken. Imagine your mind as a wide open sky, not just a small patch above your head, but a limitless expanse stretching beyond the mountains, beyond the horizon, beyond what can be seen. And across that sky, thoughts drift like clouds. Some are light and fleeting, like wisps of wind-touched vapor. Others are heavy, thunderous, dark, full of rain. Some days are calm, some are stormy, but no matter what the weather is like, you remain the sky. The clouds do not define you. The storm does not damage you. The brightness doesn't own you. All these thoughts, these emotions, these tiny weather systems, they pass through you, but they are not you. And the more you watch them without holding on, the more you feel the depth of the stillness behind them. Right now, your thoughts might be meandering. They might swirl like autumn leaves. They might loop through the same memories, or they might scatter like seeds on the wind. That's okay. Let them come. Let them go. Let the mind weather itself, as it was made to do. You are simply observing, from the quiet field beneath. You are not the breeze. You are the mountain it brushes against. You are not the thought. You are the awareness it dances through. And no matter how many clouds pass tonight, the sky remains, still, vast, unmoved. When you move slowly, the world unfolds its hidden verses, one soft line at a time. There is a kind of magic that lives in slowness. Not the slowness of delay or impatience, but the deliberate, mindful pace of deep living. Think of how honey moves, thick, golden, and unhurried. It doesn't rush to fill the spoon. It drapes itself into place with grace. That's how the mind flows when we stop hurrying. When you let yourself slow down, your thoughts stretch out and soften. They no longer crowd and bump and press. They sway like reeds in a gentle current. Slowness is poetry for the body. It lets your breath become a verse. It lets silence become a stanza. It lets feeling become a story told in warm, quiet waves. You begin to notice more. The small sounds between words, the texture of thought, the subtle hues of emotions, like walking through a forest and finally seeing the moss on the trees, the patterns in the bark, the secret paths made by deer and time. This is what happens when the mind slows. Life begins to reveal its finer details. And sleep is the deepest slowness of all. It is the body's quietest poem, a lullaby sung in brain waves and dreams. So tonight, let yourself become honey. Let your thoughts drip slowly into rest. No need to finish, no need to understand. Just let the slowness take you. Word by word, breath by breath, line by gentle line. Within you is a quiet place where thoughts grow like flowers and dreams bloom without being asked. If you closed your eyes just a little more and listened not with your ears but with your awareness, you may begin to sense it. A garden, not outside but deep within. A space where the light is always soft, where the ground is always fertile, and where your thoughts grow gently, tangled and beautiful. In this hidden garden, nothing is forced. Ideas rise slowly like shoots from the earth. Some bloom with color, some remain as seeds waiting for the right season. There are no weeds here, only misunderstood growth. Even the thoughts you try to push away are just wildflowers, needing a little space to unfold. You do not have to tend this garden constantly. It knows how to care for itself. But when you visit, when you sit quietly in its center, it reveals so much. You may remember something you thought you'd forgotten. You may feel a softness you didn't know you were missing. You may find yourself breathing just a little deeper. This garden is not a goal. It is not a project. It is simply a part of you, a private place of stillness and growth that exists even when you are busy, even when you are tired, even when you forget. And tonight, as your mind slows and wanders, it has wandered here. Let it rest on the soft moss. Let it drift among the blooms. Let it dissolve gently into the petals of thought until sleep takes root like ivy over stone. Not all thoughts are passing clouds. Some wait like stars, patient and constant until you are ready to see them. Some thoughts move quickly. They visit for a moment, leave no trace, and disappear into the wind. But others, they wait. They do not rush. They do not shout. They simply rest quietly in the corners of your mind until the time is right. These thoughts are shaped by something deeper than habit. They are stitched from emotion, woven from memory, rooted in truth. You may not notice them at first. They are soft like moss. They hum just beneath the surface of your busy mind, like a lullaby beneath noise. But in the quiet, in the stillness that sleep brings, they rise. Gently, tenderly, without force. It might be the realization of something you already knew but never said. It might be a moment from childhood suddenly shining again. It might be the face of someone you haven't thought of in years, not to haunt, but to soothe. The thought that waited for you is never heavy. It arrives like a letter placed softly into your hands, and when you are ready, you read it, not with your eyes, but with your whole self. It may not have words. It may come as a feeling, a scent, a rhythm, but when you receive it, something opens. A part of you exhaled that you didn't know was holding its breath, and the silence around you feels different, not empty, but held. Tonight, there may be a thought waiting for you, not urgent, not loud, just ready. If it comes, welcome it. Sit beside it in your hidden garden. Let it speak in whatever language it knows. And if it doesn't come tonight, that's okay too. Some thoughts wait a lifetime. Some arrive like rain after drought. Some bloom when the season turns inside your soul. You don't have to search for them. They already know where to find you. The mind remembers not just what was, but how it felt. Joy lingers in the spaces between time. Have you ever noticed how some joys don't fade with time? They lie tucked away, not in the drawers of memory, but folded gently into the fabric of your being. The laughter from a summer afternoon, the smell of books in your childhood room, the first time someone saw you, really saw you, and smiled with their whole heart. These joys aren't loud anymore. They don't dance and shout like they once did, but they are here, sleeping under your ribs, settled like dust in sunlight, glowing quietly when you turn toward them. Tonight, as your mind drifts without anchor, you might float across one of these old joys. It may come without warning, a face, a flavor, a moment once lost, now found again. It won't ask questions. It won't bring confusion. It will simply sit beside you, like an old friend on a park bench, saying nothing, yet saying everything. And in that moment, you may feel something stir deep within, not excitement, but peace. Joy that is no longer trying to impress, only to exist. The kind of joy that has weathered time, that has softened into the soul's foundation. If you find one of these joys tonight, do not try to hold it. Simply let it brush against you, like wind through an open window, like light through closed eyes. Let it stay as long as it wants. Let it go when it's ready. And know that it is never truly gone. Old joy never leaves. It becomes part of who you are. Even the dreams we forget are carried by the currents of the mind, planting seeds we don't yet understand. Each night you dream, even if you do not remember, even if they dissolve by the time you wake, they are still there. Little worlds that bloom and fade like fireflies in tall grass. But have you ever wondered, where do the forgotten dreams go? They do not vanish. They drift. They slide gently beneath the surface of waking thought, becoming part of the great ocean of your inner life. Some curl into images that return weeks later. Some plant seeds that bloom as ideas long after their shape has vanished. Some carry messages from the deeper self, not to be understood, but to be felt.
To remind you that even when your mind is quiet, your soul is speaking. You may never recall the face you saw, the strange city you walked through, the voice that called your name across water, but part of you remembers, not in detail, in texture, in rhythm, and sometimes in a quiet moment, a scent, a breeze, a note in a song. The echo returns, not as memory, but as recognition, that something within you has been moving quietly forward because of a dream you forgot. So tonight, as you wander into sleep, let go of trying to hold on. Let the dreams come and go like clouds that write your story in skyscript. They do not need to be remembered to be real. They are real because you felt them, because they moved something in you, even if you don't know what. And maybe, just maybe, they will return when you need them most, not to explain themselves, but to remind you that you are always dreaming, even in waking. You've drifted through hidden gardens, old joys, forgotten dreams, and the wide sky of your own mind. You've allowed your thoughts to wander like mist, and in that wandering, you found rest. So now, as the night deepens around you, and your breath grows slower, and the hush settles like snow over your body, let everything go. No need to think, no need to remember, just be. Float. Sink into the warmth of your bed. Let your limbs grow heavy. Let your mind dissolve like a lullaby into the dark. You are safe here. You are held, and everything is exactly as it should be. Wherever you are in the world, whether in the hum of a city or the quiet of countryside, whether it's midnight, dawn, or somewhere in between, I hope this brought you comfort, a small island of calm in the ocean of your day. Thank you for letting me drift with you. Thank you for wandering through the quiet with me. Good night, gentle soul. Sleep well.